Hello everyone, welcome to another Into the Void Real Review. This time we're reviewing an HBO Max TV show named Scavenger Reign. Recently, I have watched several animated shows that have resonated with me, such as Blue-Eyed Samurai, Pluto, Captain Laserhawk, and Cyberpunk Edge Runners. They've all been great, with a special shout out to Blue-Eyed Samurai, which I specifically reviewed on this channel not too long ago. Animated shows, or anime, depending on your definition, has been something I have watched a lot of recently now that the most of the streaming services have their fair share of it. I can still remember when it was still a niche thing back when I had to buy the DVDs to watch Death Note, which was one of the first anime experiences and still one of my favorites to this day. But that is no surprise as most people like Death Note. However, I feel a lot of people probably haven't heard of Scavengers Reign, which has been an underground sensation since it aired for the first time last year in October. I think that's when it first came out. I may be wrong. Tell me in the comment section if I am. I finally got to see this animated feature. Be careful what you call it because people are pretty particular. I've found people get animated if you call an animated show an anime when it's not technically an anime. Apparently, it has to be out of Japan to be called an anime. If it is from the West, then it is an animated feature. Whatever Scavenger Reign is, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that you experience the show for yourself. It's beautiful and imaginative in its world building and creature design. What is it about? It's about a crew that crash lands on a planet and becomes separated from their ship, aptly named the Demeter. The story follows each of the people who must survive in their own way on a planet filled with all kinds of different aliens, equal parts interesting and dangerous. The show bounces back and forth briskly in each of the episodes between the three groups who find themselves shipwrecked on the hostile planet. Each episode is a little over 20 minutes long. One group consists of Azee and her robot Levi. If I had to pick a gender for it, it most likely would be female. Anyway, there is this cool interplay between Azee and Levi that manifests itself when Azee finds out that Levi's inner workings are contaminated with biological matter, which seems to be changing Levi. Those changes come in the form of her acting more like a human and are apparent when she starts to exhibit emotions and feelings in a thoughtful and physical sense, which is interesting as you wonder what the planet is doing to her. Is she making the transition from a mechanical being to a biological being due to an evolutionary Pandora's box that the planet has jump-started in some way? Then there's the other group, Ursula and Sam, that encounters several creepy creatures such as the one that can create an evil clone from biting its victims, or the one that latches onto your heart and acts like a parasite that seems to empower its victims with limitless energy to build mud structures and swim underwater with the lungs of fish. Trust me, you have to watch it to understand what I'm talking about. Of course, there is a downside of death, which I won't articulate on because of spoiler reasons. Then lastly, there's another shipwrecked person, Cayman, who drew the shortest stick of them all. He gets rescued after being trapped in a derelict piece of the Demeter. The poor guy is going crazy with no human contact for what seems ages, only to be rescued by a creature resembling a giant slug-like creature that has telepathic abilities bordering on mind control, manifesting your worst memories and even coalescing them into a twisted nightmare beyond your wildest imagination. There's some truly horrific stuff at play in Scavengers Reign amid all the beautiful imagery of the planet. It's an adult animated show for sure and has some haunting imagery that will hit you surprisingly hard. However, if there's one ding, okay, maybe two dings, that I would have to give this show, it would be that the characters do not resonate with me as much as I wish they would have. Ironically, they seem somewhat alien to me just as much as the ones that occupy the planet. Maybe that's on purpose. Maybe the makers of the show wanted us to see what the aliens saw from their perspective. After all, the humans are invaders in their land if seen from the aliens' point of view. Whatever the case may be, I'm not sure, but I wasn't deeply invested in any of the human characters. I mean, I felt sorry for some of them, but I don't necessarily feel like I had a deep emotional connection with any. I did kind of feel closest to Levi, but technically, she's a robot. Or is she? Yeah, it's a conundrum for sure. Also, after a while, the sheer number of aliens present who did such mind-boggling things became a little self-serving and a little far-fetched. After seeing a creature abduct one of the humans and then deposit it in another giant water creature, only to have another creature inside said giant water creature try to kill the humans before escaping that creature and then being regurgitated onto a beach, seemed like a little bit like crossing the line. Like, come on, really? Now, that's a highly unlikely thing to happen even on a planet full of these crazy organisms. But to be honest, that kind of thing didn't bother me too much. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think of the show. I read several reviews of this show and they were all glowing for the most part. People really seem to love it, and I love it for the most part. It's a great show. I think this is a must watch just for the sheer artistry on display in every scene and the unbelievable aliens that are for sure out of this world. Every episode builds to the expected conclusion you can see coming from a mile away, but the journey to that expected conclusion is awesome and worth taking for the trip alone. I'm giving Scavengers Reign a 9 out of 10, and I'm hoping many more people experience this gem. Guys, see you later, and I will see you the next time when we venture into the void.